I was brushing my teeth before bed when I noticed it. A second toothbrush sitting in the holder. Blue, electric, sleek and expensive looking. Definitely not mine. I froze there for a good 10 seconds, toothpaste foam sliding down my chin, my brain scrambling to come up with a logical explanation that didn't make my stomach twist. My wife, Rachel, leaned against the bathroom doorway. "You coming to bed?" I didn't answer right away. I lifted my hand and pointed at the counter. "What's this?" She glanced at it like it was nothing more than a stray hair tie, barely even hesitated. That's Kyle's. He stayed here last night after the work thing. You were already asleep." Kyle, her coworker, the one whose name had been popping up on her phone at midnight, the one she said was just part of the team, the one who apparently needed somewhere to spend the night, and now had a toothbrush in our bathroom. "He left his toothbrush here?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. "Yeah," she said with a shrug. "He grabbed it at CVS on his way over. Said he'd pick it up next time." Next time. I rinsed my mouth slowly, set my toothbrush down beside the blue one, and turned toward her. "Rachel, why does your coworker have a toothbrush in our house?" She let out a long breath, like I was exhausting. "It's not a big deal, Nathan. He's just a friend." Just a friend. I stared at that blue toothbrush resting next to mine like it had every right to be there, and something inside my chest went tight and icy. "Okay," I said quietly. She blinked. "Okay?" "Yeah, okay." I walked past her without another word, grabbed my phone from the nightstand, and texted my brother. "Can I crash at your place tonight?" He replied almost immediately. "Door's open." I packed a duffel bag while Rachel stood in the bedroom doorway watching me like she didn't understand what was happening. "Nathan, where are you going?" "Out," I said. "Kyle can have my side of the bed. Looks like he's already settling in." I walked out without slamming the door. What I didn't tell her was that I'd been tracking her phone for 3 weeks, and I already knew exactly where she'd really been the night Kyle supposedly crashed on our couch. If you want to know what a man finds when he stops swallowing excuses and starts verifying the facts, hit subscribe, because that toothbrush wasn't the only thing Kyle left behind. My name is Nathan Cross. I'm 38 years old, and I work as a systems analyst for a healthcare company in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm the guy people call when something's wrong, but no one can figure out why. Network gaps, security flaws, hidden vulnerabilities. I find the cracks before everything collapses. I recognize patterns for a living, and 3 weeks ago, I started seeing them in my own home. Rachel and I have been married 6 years, together for 8. We met at a mutual friend's wedding. She was a bridesmaid in a pale green dress. I was a groomsman pretending I knew how to tie a bow tie. We got seated next to each other at dinner and ended up talking until the staff started stacking chairs around us. She was magnetic. Smart, quick-witted, working in marketing for a tech startup, full of ideas and ambition. I fell fast, and I fell hard. We bought a small craftsman bungalow in South Charlotte, complete with a wide front porch and a backyard big enough for the dog we always talked about adopting someday. For years, things were good, steady, safe. Then about 6 months ago, something shifted. It wasn't dramatic at first. Just subtle changes. She was on her phone more often, smiling at messages she angled away from me. "Who's that?" I'd ask casually. "Just work," she'd reply, thumbs already flying across the screen. Then the late nights began. Client dinners, strategy meetings, team drinks. I didn't question it. She was ambitious. I respected that. I trusted her. But then one name kept coming up. Kyle. Kyle and I are leading the new campaign. Kyle thinks we should adjust the branding. Kyle is hilarious. You'd really get along with him. Kyle. Over and over. At first, it felt harmless. Coworkers talk about each other. That's normal. But I started noticing she dressed differently on days she mentioned him. Better jeans, a blouse she hadn't worn in months, perfume that wasn't part of her usual rotation. She'd come home later than she used to, sometimes past midnight. "How was work?" I'd ask. Exhausting, she'd say, heading straight to the shower. Every single time. 3 weeks ago, I crossed a line I never thought I would. I installed a tracking app on her phone. Not some sketchy spyware, just a family locator app people use for safety. We'd talked about getting one months back and never followed through. One night, while she was in the shower, I set it up. It took less than a minute. She didn't notice. That's when the data started telling its story. Monday, supposed client dinner at 7 p.m. Her phone pinged at the Ritz-Carlton uptown from 7:15 until almost midnight. Not the restaurant across the street, the hotel. Wednesday, late meeting until 10. Her phone sat at a condo building in Dilworth for nearly 4 hours. Not her office, not a client's building, a residence. Friday, team drinks, same condo, 6:30 p.m. to 1:14 a.m. I looked up the address, Kyle Morrison, Unit 4B. I didn't confront her, not yet. I kept gathering information. 2 or 3 nights a week, like clockwork, her phone would end up at Kyle's condo. Meanwhile, she'd tell me about brainstorming sessions and last-minute presentations. I started noticing more details. New lingerie tucked in the back of her drawer. Receipts from restaurants I'd never been to. A $180 charge from a boutique hotel in Asheville the weekend she said she was attending a marketing conference. I checked the conference website. It had been fully virtual that year. She had lied, and I had nodded and said, okay. Then came the toothbrush. That Tuesday, I got home from work at the usual time. Rachel was in the kitchen cooking, her phone propped up against the backsplash. Hey, babe, she said without looking up. Hey. I went upstairs to change, stepped into the bathroom, and there it was, a blue electric toothbrush, brand new, still gleaming in its charging dock right beside mine. It looked deliberate, permanent. My mind started connecting everything at once. She'd said Kyle stayed over. I had taken NyQuil for a cold and passed out before 9 p.m. I checked the tracking app. Her phone had remained at home overnight. But when I logged into our Wi-Fi router, there was an unfamiliar device connected from 11:47 p.m. to 6:23 a.m. Kyle's phone. He had been inside my house while I was sleeping in my own bed, and he left a toothbrush behind like he planned on returning. I didn't shout. I didn't slam doors. I walked downstairs, calm and controlled.
Rachel, whose toothbrush is in our bathroom? She didn't hesitate. That's Kyle's. He stayed here after we worked late. He had a couple drinks and didn't want to drive, so he slept on the couch. And he needed a toothbrush? I asked evenly. He stopped at CVS, said he'd grab it next time. Next time. Like it was scheduled. Like this was normal behavior between married people and their coworkers. I studied her face. No panic, no guilt, just irritation. Nathan, you're overreacting. He's just a friend. Just a friend. I nodded once. Okay. Then I went upstairs, pulled out my gym bag, and started packing clothes. Where are you going? She called. Out. Nathan? Kyle can have my place, I said. Seems like he's already made himself comfortable. I walked out the front door and got in my car without looking back. I drove to my brother's apartment in Ballantyne. He opened the door wearing sweatpants and a Hornets t-shirt, took one look at my face and stepped aside without a word. Beer? He asked. Yeah. We sat on his couch and I told him everything. The tracking app, the condo, the hotel, the toothbrush. He didn't interrupt. When I finished, he handed me another beer. What are you gonna do? I don't know. You need a lawyer. I know. Tomorrow? I know. He leaned back and exhaled. Man, I'm sorry. She always seemed solid. Yeah, I said quietly. So did the Titanic. The next morning, I called a divorce attorney. Her name was Monica Reeves. She specialized in high-conflict cases and came highly recommended. I sat across from her in a sleek office and laid everything out. The tracking history, the receipts, the Wi-Fi logs. She listened, jotting notes. Do you have direct proof of an affair? She asked. I have location records showing she's at his condo multiple nights a week. That's circumstantial. Do you have photos, messages, anything explicit? Not yet. Then we need it. She slid a business card toward me. Private investigator. Discreet, thorough, effective. How much? $5,000 retainer. Investigator fees separate. But if you want this airtight, you'll need concrete evidence. I thought about the toothbrush sitting beside mine. Do it. The investigator's name was Marcus, former cop, built like he could still bench press a small car. We met at a Starbucks off Providence Road. What do you need? He asked bluntly. Proof. Pictures. Video. Confirmation. He nodded. Give me 2 weeks. That long? If they're sloppy, I'll have something in 2 days. If they're careful, maybe 2 weeks. Either way, you'll know. He handed me a contract. I signed it. One more thing, he added. Don't confront her. Don't tip her off. Let me work. Guys get emotional and ruin everything. Stay calm. I nodded. For 2 weeks, I lived in suspension. I stayed at my brother's place and told Rachel I needed space. She didn't argue, didn't plead, just said, okay, let me know when you're ready to talk. Like I was the one who needed to think. I went to work. I slept. I waited. Marcus sent updates every few days. Followed subject to Morrison residence. Stayed 4 hours. Subject and Morrison entered hotel together. Exited separately. Photographs obtained. Intimate contact observed. Each message tightened something inside me. And on the 13th day, my phone rang. I've got what you need, Marcus said. We met at the same Starbucks. He slid a thick manila envelope across the table. Everything's in there. Photos, timestamps, video stills. It's airtight. I opened the envelope. The first photo showed Rachel and Kyle walking into a hotel, his hand on her lower back. The second showed them kissing in a parking garage. The third showed them entering his condo, lights on, curtains open. I flipped through the rest, each one worse than the last. There's also this, Marcus said, sliding a thumb drive across the table. Audio from a conversation they had outside a restaurant. North Carolina is a one-party consent state. I was the one party. What's on it? Listen for yourself. I plugged the drive into my laptop, put in my earbuds. Rachel's voice came through clear as day. When are you going to tell him? Kyle's voice, smooth, confident. Tell him what? That we're serious, that this isn't just fun. A pause. Rachel, you know I can't do that. I'm not ready to blow up my life. What about my life? I'm married, Kyle. I can't keep doing this. So leave him. It's not that simple. Why not? You said he's boring. You said you're not happy. I'm not, but he's safe. He's stable. So you want to keep him around as a backup plan? A long pause. Maybe. I stopped the recording. Marcus watched me. You okay? I wasn't, but I nodded anyway. Enough? I asked. More than enough. I took the envelope to Monica the next day. She went through it methodically. Photos, timestamps, audio transcript. When she finished, she looked up. This is solid. We can file on grounds of adultery. In North Carolina, that affects alimony. Good. You'll get a favorable settlement. The house, the assets. She won't have much leverage. What about her? What about her? What does she get? Monica leaned back. Honestly, not much. She's the one who cheated. She's employed. She doesn't have a strong case for support. So she walks away with nothing. She walks away with what she came in with and a lesson. I nodded. Let's do it. I didn't tell Rachel I was filing. I let the process server do it. He showed up at her office on a Wednesday afternoon, handed her the papers in front of her coworkers. She called me 30 seconds later. I didn't answer. She called again and again. 12 missed calls, 23 texts. Nathan, what the hell is this? You can't be serious. We need to talk. Please call me. I didn't respond. That night, she showed up at my brother's place, pounded on the door. Nathan, I know you're in there. My brother opened the door. He doesn't want to talk to you. This is between me and my husband. Your husband filed for divorce, so no, it's not. He closed the door. She stood outside for 10 minutes, yelling, crying. Eventually, she left. The next morning, I got a call from an unknown number. I answered. "Nathan, it's Kyle."
I almost hung up. Don't hang up. Just hear me out. Why would I do that? Because this is a misunderstanding. I laughed. Bitter. Cold. A misunderstanding. Rachel and I are just friends. She's been going through a rough time. I was supporting her. With your toothbrush in my bathroom. Silence. Yeah, I said. I know about that. I know about the hotel, the condo, the parking garage. I know everything, Kyle. Nathan, you want to be with her? Fine, she's all yours. But don't call me and insult my intelligence. I hung up. He didn't call back. The divorce moved fast. Rachel tried to fight it at first, claimed I was being unreasonable, that I'd misunderstood the situation. Then Monica sent her lawyer the evidence, the photos, the audio, the timeline. Rachel's lawyer called Monica the next day. My client would like to settle. I'm sure she would, Monica said. We drafted terms. I kept the house, the cars, the retirement accounts. Rachel got her personal belongings and her car. No alimony, no support. Clean break. Her lawyer tried to negotiate. Monica shut it down. Your client committed adultery. She has no leverage. Take the deal or go to trial. They took the deal. 60 days later, it was final. I signed the papers in Monica's office. Rachel signed hers remotely. We never spoke again. I went home that night, to my home, and walked through the rooms. It felt different, lighter. I went upstairs into the bathroom. The blue toothbrush was gone. I'd thrown it out the day I left, but the memory of it stayed. That stupid toothbrush, the thing that made me stop ignoring the truth. I brushed my teeth alone in my own bathroom, and for the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe. 6 months later, I was doing okay. I'd started going to the gym again, lost 15 pounds, felt stronger. I'd reconnected with old friends, started playing basketball on weekends. I even went on a few dates. Nothing serious, just getting back out there. One night, I was at a brewery with my brother when I saw her, Rachel. She was at a table in the corner with Kyle. They weren't laughing. They weren't smiling. They looked tired. Kyle was on his phone. Rachel was staring into her drink. They looked like two people who'd run out of things to say. My brother saw them too. You want to leave? No, I said. I'm good. And I was. I didn't feel anger, didn't feel pain. I felt nothing. They'd gotten what they wanted, each other. And from the looks of it, it wasn't what they'd hoped for. A few weeks later, I ran into Rachel's old coworkers at a coffee shop. Hey, Nathan, she said. I heard about the divorce. I'm sorry. Thanks. For what it's worth, Rachel's not doing great. Oh, she and Kyle broke up. Turns out he wasn't ready to commit. She made air quotes. Shocker, right? Yeah, I said. Shocker. She's been asking about you, wondering if you'd be open to talking. I smiled. No. Fair enough. She left. I sat there with my coffee, staring out the window. Rachel had traded stability for excitement. She'd traded a man who loved her for a man who wanted her, and now she had neither. I'm not going to lie and say I didn't feel a little satisfaction. I did, but mostly I just felt free. Free from the lies, the tracking, the constant wondering. Free from loving someone who didn't love me back. I'd spent months trying to figure out what I did wrong, what I could have done differently. But the truth is, I didn't do anything wrong. I was just married to someone who didn't value what we had. And that's on her, not me. A year after the divorce, I met someone new. Her name was Claire. She was a nurse, worked night shifts at the hospital. We met at a dog park. I'd finally gotten that dog, a rescue mutt named Biscuit. She had a golden retriever named Sunny. The dogs played. We talked. She didn't know about Rachel, didn't know about the toothbrush or the tracking or any of it. She just knew me, the version of me I was now, and that was enough. One night, about 3 months into dating, Claire stayed over. The next morning, she was brushing her teeth in my bathroom. I watched her from the doorway.
She caught my eye in the mirror. "What?" "Nothing," I said. "Just, it's nice having you here." She smiled. "It's nice being here." She rinsed her toothbrush, set it in the holder next to mine, and this time it didn't make my chest tighten. It just felt right. If you've ever found something in your house that didn't belong, a toothbrush, a receipt, a text message, you know the feeling. That moment when your brain tries to explain it away. It's nothing. You're overreacting. You're being paranoid. But deep down, you know. You always know. The question is, what do you do about it? Do you ignore it? Pretend you didn't see it? Or do you face it head on? I chose to face it. And yeah, it hurt. It sucked. It turned my life upside down. But it also set me free. Because the truth, no matter how painful, is always better than a comfortable lie. Rachel texted me once about a year after the divorce. "I'm sorry for everything. I hope you're doing okay." I stared at the message for a long time, then typed back, "I am. I hope you are too." And I meant it. Not because I forgave her, not because I wanted her back, but because holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. She made her choices, I made mine, and we both have to live with them. So here's what I learned. Trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't ignore the signs. Don't explain them away. And if you find a toothbrush in your bathroom that isn't yours, don't just ask whose it is. Ask yourself why you're still standing there. If this story hit home, comment, "Trust your gut." If you've ever ignored a red flag you shouldn't have, if you've ever found something that changed everything, if you've ever had to choose between a comfortable lie and a painful truth, this one's for you. Hit subscribe for more real stories about real people navigating the messiest parts of life. Because sometimes the smallest things, a toothbrush, a receipt, a text message, tell the biggest truths. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You can only decide what to do.